All right. I wanted to take a moment to talk a little college football here for a moment. I'm repping my Syracuse orange. And before the season began, Fran Brown was hired as a complete unknown as a coaching entity. He had been an assistant coach at Georgia, but never a head coach. And a lot of Syracuse fans said, "Who's that guy?" And understandably, there was scoffing when Fran Brown came in and talked tough. Okay. He talked about winning a championships at Syracuse, football wise. And this was a first time head coach that nobody knew from a hole in the wall. And people said, "What's this guy talking about? What's this guy? He's getting ahead of himself." And I had a lot of my friends who are Syracuse fans who went to school with me, et cetera, say, "What do you think about the hire? I don't know about this guy. I've never heard of this guy. Can't we get a guy that somebody, he's been a head coach before, et cetera?" And I said, the best thing Syracuse can do is find a head coach that's better than the job. And that's not what people want to hear when you've had Dwight Freeney and Donovan McNabb, when you've played in a Sugar Bowl, albeit a long time ago, but you've had Jim Brown there and John Mackey and Art Monk and all of these legends of the game, Floyd Little. It's not what people want to hear. But the truth of the matter is, Syracuse football has been down long enough to where they needed a guy who was better than the job. Eventually, you're not trying to hire a guy for 15 years or 25 years. You're trying to hire a guy for 5. And I said, this is worth it. This is worth the chance. Why? Because of 2 things. Number 1, he had instant credibility on the recruiting trail because he came from a dynasty, a current dynasty in Georgia. And he knew Jersey. And you got to get Jersey kids. At Syracuse, you're not going to go to Texas and get a bunch of kids. You're not going to go to California and get a bunch of kids. And oftentimes, your Pennsylvania kids, your Ohio kids who are very good end up going to Penn State, Ohio State, Big Ten schools, etc. So what you have to do is you have to find Jersey kids, because in Jersey, they play really good high school football, much better than the state of New York. And he had Jersey ties to get into that Catholic Jersey pipeline. And you have to be able to flip a couple of kids in the portal and make them believe. Fran Brown believes himself, and he found Kyle McCord, the Ohio State quarterback. And gosh darn it, these 2 guys, Kyle McCord and Fran Brown, deserve so much credit, because what happened yesterday at the Carrier Dome, now the JMA Wireless Dome, against Miami, was harkening back to the old days. I went to school, and it was the McNabb years. And before me was the Marvin Graves years. And before that was the Don McPherson years. I had heard and seen all the videos, the photos of the 87 squad that had the incredible undefeated regular season, only to go to the Sugar Bowl and have a tie against Auburn. I saw the grainy photos of Jim Brown playing at Archbold Stadium. I knew the history, and I saw it was all around us, and it was about finding the next great players. And that was my era of Syracuse football. In the last 20 years, since I graduated in 01, has been a lot of bad, and not a lot of great, and not a lot of belief, and not a lot of anything. And it was struggling to get to 6 wins in a CarQuest Bowl. A Pinstripe Bowl just ended up being the best thing ever. And Fran Brown said that's not enough. And he just went out in year number 1. He won 9 football games and beat Miami to knock them out of the ACC championship game at the Carrier Dome, coming back from down 21 points. 21-0 they trailed. And they never gave up. And they looked Miami square in the eye, down 21-0, and said, "We're still coming." And that is a testament to Fran Brown. That's a testament to a guy that believed when nobody else did. And I just found his attitude to be contagious. It is just flat out contagious to have a guy that believes more than you think you are, and that you're capable of. And that's him. And after the game, when he's speaking to the sideline reporter, and he's looking at the camera and saying, "Hey, Dabo, you owe me. That's for you. Now you're in the ACC championship game." That's interesting. That's kind of funny. Like, I got the big picture. Okay, this is not just about us. I know what this meant. And Dabo, now you're in. They took pride in knocking Miami out of that ACC title game. And I also thought it was very smart that after the game, he thanked Kirby for sending him a message. That's a big moment. And it's like, oh, for kids watching, oh, yeah, he's down with Kirby. Okay. If Kirby wins titles, okay. And Kyle McCord, on a day where Ohio State struggled to score 10 points and losing against Michigan, for McCord to go out there and do what he did and launch that comeback and beat Miami, a top 10 team, number 6, in front of a full house, that's a special moment too. So McCord and Fran Brown, and the rest of those guys, they deserve a lot of credit. But McCord and Fran Brown specifically showed up saying, we're going to change things around here, and they did. Go Orange. Fran Brown said Syracuse is back. Wouldn't that be nice?